Steve Erceg is finally back in the win column after 3 brutal losses, and it feels good, man. I gotta say, I'm very happy for Steve Erceg. Although I didn't think his performance was that good against Ode Osborne a couple nights ago, I still am very happy for the guy. The Dominic Reyes arc was almost completed. Thank goodness it was not fully completed. But in today's video, I'm gonna be going over UFC fighters who I actually still believe in, UFC fighters who I still have faith in. Before we get into the exact fighters, make sure to subscribe, man. We're a small channel trying to grow. We're at like 920 subscribers right now, and we're trying to hit 1K by the end of the year. It takes 1 second, man. It would mean a lot. But without further ado, let's talk about it. The first guy, obviously, we're going to start off with flyweight. It's pretty obvious who it is. I just said Steve Erceg, man. Steve Erceg, like I said, I didn't think his performance against Ode Osborne was that class. I didn't think it was the same Steve Erceg that we had seen before the Pantoja fight. And honestly, dude, I was thinking maybe Steve Erceg was just a very hard matchup for Pantoja. Maybe he was just Pantoja's stylistic nightmare of a matchup. But I've came around, dude. I still think Steve Erceg could potentially be someone who can hang around the top 5 in the flyweight division. I still really do have hope for him. I think he can beat a lot of guys like Alex Perez, who he was originally supposed to fight. He can beat guys maybe like a Brandon Royval, maybe even like a Manel Kape. I think this guy can certainly beat Kai Kara-France in a rematch. And he's honestly the better fighter. He's just, realistically, I think he's way better than Kai Kara-France, dude. Kai Kara-France, we all know he fluked a win over this man. But Steve Erceg, very technical boxing, and if he really needs to, he will take you down. He will use his wrestling, something that he has kind of shied away from in his last couple fights. But he attempted to use it against Ode Osborne. You know, in that third round, he was able to take Ode Osborne down and use some vicious ground and pound, which arguably won him the fight. You know, the judges saw him on top of Ode Osborne in that third round, and I do believe that is why the judges slightly leaned towards him in that fight. So, happy for Steve Erceg. I do think this man could maybe not make a title run. I don't think Steve Erceg will ever be a champion like we maybe originally thought he could be after that first Pantoja fight, but he can definitely become a staple of the top 5. And listen, kid, you're not beating Joshua Van, but come on, Steve Erceg, I'll give you some credit. Moving on to the bantamweight division, we have Sugar Sean O'Malley, guys. If you guys know me, if you guys are true OGs of this channel, you know that I am a die-hard Sugar Sean O'Malley fan. And it sucks, dude, because people have truly turned on Sean O'Malley. People have, like, switched up. The switch-up is crazy. And honestly, people talk about Sean O'Malley like he's just not that good. He'll never fight for a title again. They're saying like he's someone who could be in the top 10, someone who's a completely one-sided fighter. And if you actually think that, you're stupid. This man has wins over Aljamain Sterling, the second greatest bantamweight of all time. Merab Dvalishvili, he almost beat, dude. He has wins over guys like Peter Yan, and you can argue, you can cope all you want. He beat Peter Yan on paper. He has a win over Peter Yan. The first Merab fight was very close. I do not care what you guys say. And at the end of the day, Sean O'Malley, he still is someone who can hang around the top 5. I think he's ranked 2nd right now, but Sean O'Malley has just become massively underrated right now. People don't rate this guy anymore. They think of him as just a one-sided striker, but don't forget how slick this man's boxing is. He is still one of the only guys to beat Merab only because of that KO threat. No one else in the division has the KO power. No one else in the bantamweight division realistically can knock you out with one punch. But Sugar Sean O'Malley, he is there, and I think he can be a hard matchup for a lot of guys in the division. A rematch with Peter Yan, that'd be a very fun fight that I'd like to see. Mario Batista, he beats guys just around the top 5 like a Figgy. He's going to get a really easy bounce back fight, and I think once he does get that, he's probably going to win very decisively, and a lot of people are going to be hopping back on the Sean O'Malley bandwagon. But you guys know, I'm going to say it right now, I have always been on the Sean O'Malley bandwagon. I've been watching this guy since some of his first fights in the UFC. I do believe this man is champion material, although I don't think he'll ever be... I hate to say it, I don't know if he'll be champion again in the UFC. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe later down the line when Merab retires. As much as I hurts to say, dude, Sean O'Malley will probably never be champion again. But like I said in many videos before, I think he'll have a similar career to a Max Holloway. You just can't beat the actual champion, similar to Sean O'Malley, how we can't beat Merab. Max Holloway just couldn't beat Volk. I think they'll have very good careers and go on to be very respected fighters. Sean O'Malley, at the end of the day, love him or hate him, you gotta respect it. He has some of the slickest boxing in the UFC. People were saying this guy could beat Elite Tapora at one point. Just know that. Moving on to featherweight, the next guy we have for featherweight is someone who you guys honestly have probably forgot about, Arnold Allen. I mean, it's not like this guy has had some crazy fall off. It's not like this guy has gone on a massive losing streak, but Arnold Allen at one point was riding like a 10-fight winning streak. This guy was on another level. this guy was beating everybody. He was racking up wins. He was going on a tear, and he ran into Max Holloway. Max Holloway, that's not a best win. That's the second best featherweight of all time. Then he ran into Movsar Evloev. That's also not a bad win, and especially considering how close that fight was. A lot of people argue Arnold Allen arguably won that fight, and I'm not going to disagree with you. I think he might have had a chance for winning that fight, but the judges did not give him that fight. So he was on a 2-fight winning streak, and his last fight was at UFC 304 against Giga Chikadze, in a pretty good win for him. However, he has not fought since then. It's been over a year since his last fight, and people are just starting to forget about this guy. You know, people originally were talking about Arnold Allen like he was a guaranteed champion, like he would be in a title fight, by like the end of the year, guaranteed. And now we're sitting here. It's been a year and a half since he's last fought. He's like had a career plagued by injuries, and it's just not looking good. I still believe in Arnold Allen. I think he's ranked 4th or 5th in the division, and he beats a lot of guys in the division. He beats guys like Brian Ortega, like Aljamain Sterling. He's still a top contender, and I think people still need to be talking about this guy when they're talking about the featherweight debate right now. The featherweight, who should be next for the title. I'm not saying he should be next, but he should be above Yair Rodriguez, honestly, dude. And speaking of Yair Rodriguez, I would probably pick Arnold Allen to beat Yair Rodriguez, and he would be a very tough matchup for Gene Silva. I think I said Gene Silva would lose to Arnold Allen, actually, so that's pretty crazy. But Arnold Allen, he's still crafty. He's a crafty striker who has decent grappling. He has great takedown defense, and people need to actually start talking about Arnold Allen, because he could be a problem in years to come in this division. He's still young, and he's still got it. Once this guy returns, I think a lot of people will hop back on the bandwagon, similar to Sean O'Malley. Moving on to our next division, we have lightweight, and for lightweight, this is like the 4th video in the span of a week that I've made glazing Rafa Fiziev. I mean, you might as well make this channel a Rafa Fiziev lover channel, because, brother, I am so high on Rafa Fiziev. I feel like I'm just going to go on the same rant I've gone on in every single video, but I'm going to summarize what I've said. Rafa Fiziev's ranking is not as good as he should be. Rafa Fiziev, his ranking does not display his skill. He's a very technical striker, one of the greatest Muay Thai artists in the history of MMA. Just very classy striker. He has good wins. His losses recently, they're not bad losses. 2 losses to Gaethje, one of the greatest lightweights of all time. One of them was on short notice, and he gave Gaethje a very hard matchup. And one of them was an injury loss against Gamrot a couple years back. Meanwhile, he's riding a good win to Rafael Bahamondes, and now this guy's booked to fight Charles Oliveira not too far away, actually. So if he can get a good win over Charles Oliveira, I am very confident in this guy. I actually picked him to beat Charles Oliveira, and maybe in my video talking about the Rafael Fiziev versus Charles Oliveira fight, I was probably a little bit too high on Rafael Fiziev. I understand. I pretty much said in that video that Rafael Fiziev would be able to knock out Charles Oliveira, and I think once the dust is settled, dude, it's been a couple days to sit on it. I think it's going to be a closer fight, but I still do think Rafael Fiziev will probably beat Charles Oliveira. Call me crazy, call me whatever, dude, but Rafael Fiziev is one of the best Muay Thai strikers in MMA history. I said that before. I think this guy's a very hard matchup for Charles Oliveira, and if he does beat Charles Oliveira, this man is in the top 5 of the lightweight division, and boom, he is officially back from riding a 3-fight loss streak to being in the top 5 of the division in just 2 fights. That shows you how good Rafael Fiziev is. And yeah, I wasn't going to put someone here like Charles Oliveira, because I don't think Charles Oliveira will ever be able to fight for a title or make a run again. I wasn't going to put someone here like a Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje realistically has one more fight, and he's going to get knocked out by Ilia Topuria. I'm hearing Justin Gaethje is supposed to fight at UFC 323 against Ilia Topuria. I don't even hate that much. That'd be pretty crazy. I'm just waiting for the UFC to officially announce that, but hopefully we get the announcement soon on whatever's going to happen with the lightweight division, because I'm so tired of waiting. And for lightweight, we do have Rafael Fiziev, though. I'm still very confident in him, and I still have a lot of faith in Rafael Fiziev. He can definitely make a run. Moving on to welterweight. Who do we have for welterweight? It's going to be my favorite unk in the UFC, one of my favorite fighters ever. Listen, Kush. Marty Fake Newsman. I'm coming for you, Marty Fake Newsman. Kamaru Usman, arguably one of my favorite fighters of all time. I've told this story many times before, but the first fight I've ever watched in UFC history, not the first fight, but the first card I've ever watched, Kamaru Usman was on it. I love Kamaru Usman. He introduced me to the sport of MMA. When I first watched this sport, this man was on his crazy, winning streak in the UFC. He is the second greatest welterweight of all time, and if you want to say he's better than GSP, then I'm not going to hate on you for that. But Kamaru Usman, I still respect you so much, and I think what you have done, dude, his last 2 fights is a loss to Khamzat Chimaev, and I honestly think that loss to Khamzat Chimaev helped his legacy, because I don't even count that as a loss. I count that as a draw, and going to a draw with Khamzat Chimaev, short notice, up a division, is something that needs to be talked about more. That technically loss, on paper it's a loss for Kamaru Usman, but that probably helped his legacy more than it hurt him, because You could have made the argument. Kamaru Usman hadn't fought in a year. He was coming off the couch, 2 weeks notice, dude. He was fat, he was out of shape, and he went up a division to fight the boogeyman, Khamzat Chimaev, and went to a very close decision with Khamzat Chimaev. Arguably should have been a draw. People need to respect Kamaru Usman for that, and obviously he took a year off. He was in the gym. He was grinding every day, dude. This old man's knees, they're not there anymore, but he still kept pushing, and he got a win over Joaquin Buckley, in which I think really gave me a lot of respect for Kamaru Usman, and I honestly do think Kamaru Usman is a tough matchup for a lot of guys in the top 5. Like a JDM, he's a tough matchup for a Shavkat, a Bilal. He's a tough matchup for a lot of guys. His wrestling mixed with the striking, I don't think his striking is the same as it used to be when he was just knocking out guys like Colby, when he knocked down Colby, when he flatlined Jorge Masvidal. I don't think his striking is exactly on that level that it was a couple years ago. But I still am really high on Kamaru Usman. I think his wrestling is probably the best in the division. I think his wrestling is better than Bilal Muhammad's. That might be crazy, but I hope he gets a big fight next. I think he will probably get a number 1 contenders fight against a Bilal Muhammad. I think they're going to do Ian Gary versus Sean Brady. And like I said, similar to lightweight, I want answers on this division very soon, because it's kind of been a couple months now where we don't really know what's going to happen. We know we're going to get JDM versus Islam, but who knows what's next for the rest of the contenders? Shavkat, who knows what's next for Shavkat? It's been a year since we've seen him. Sean Brady and Ian Gary, I think they're supposed to fight each other, and I don't even know what's next for the rest of the division. So I hope we get answers soon enough. But Kamaru Usman, I still am confident in you. I honestly think you could fight for a title. You're about to be in a number 1 contenders fight, and I'm probably going to favor you if it's against Bilal Muhammad. So just the 1 win is all it takes for Kamaru Usman to be fighting for a title, and that's all it takes, man. Just 2 good wins. I have faith in my boy Kamaru Usman. And moving on to the next division we have, it is middleweight, and this guy, here's the thing, you guys. Here's the thing, Sean Strickland. People talk about Sean Strickland like this guy would lose to Bo Nickel. Like, people talk about Sean Strickland like this guy deserves to be unranked. The switch up is crazy. A couple fights ago, people were saying he has the best defense in the UFC. He has the best defensive striking in the UFC. Oh man, Strickland's a marauder, bro. Strickland's good to take you out anyone. He's the best striker in the middleweight division. And now we talk about Sean Strickland like he should be out of the UFC. I mean, I understand this guy said a lot of controversial things. I understand that this man is suspended indefinitely, whatever that means, man. I don't know what's going to go on with Strickland. I know he got into like a big, not altercation, but he's been suspended for trying to like punch another MMA fighter and like toughen up. And I know, guys, it's a sad fall off for this guy. He was a champion a couple years back, and now he's suspended indefinitely. But the top of middleweight, this is definitely interesting right now. We could be giving Anthony Hernandez a good matchup. Who knows if this guy's going to get the Izzy rematch, what we're going to do with RDR. It's a very interesting division towards the top, not necessarily towards the back end. And Sean Strickland, he is ranked twice. I made a video the other day talking about, I don't know how this man is ranked so highly. And although I don't think he deserves to be ranked highly, that highly at least, I still don't think that he could potentially be a problem. I don't see him even fighting for a title realistically, but he can I think he beats Barhalo. I think RDR is a tough matchup for Strickland. And Strickland, there's definitely a lot of potential for this man. I think he could just be someone who hangs around the top 5. Maybe now and then he leaves it, but he'll be a win 2, lose 1 type of fighter, maybe a gatekeeper into the top 5, but he definitely can. I have faith in Sean Strickland that he will stay in that top 5, if you know what I mean. I have faith in Sean Strickland that he won't just be washed up completely, because people talk about Sean Strickland like he is super washed, like this guy can't hurt a fly anymore, like he would lose to Bo Nickel, and I truly do not believe that. I think Sean Strickland, he's the same fighter that won the title against Izzy. He has not gotten worse, but the thing is, he also has just not gotten better. He has not improved, and that is the thing about Sean Strickland, dude. Eric Nixon complains about this guy. He does not change. His game has not evolved. Realistically, in the last 5 years, he is the same fighter, just on repeat, the same teep and jab, the same stupid, boring Philly shell fighter that we've all come to hate. And he needs to change if he realistically wants to be fighting for a title. And if Sean Strickland does change, maybe something can light up in him. Maybe after everything, after him getting suspended, after everything, this man could finally lock in again. And maybe he can make one last title run. I don't really know. But that is Sean Strickland. He is the middleweight fighter that I still have hope in, that I still have faith in. And moving on to light heavyweight. Light heavyweight was an interesting one, but I went with my boy, Boltan Pereira. Come on, guys. Come on. It's too easy. Come on. Listen, I'm not gonna say Pereira has an easy match ahead of him. He has a rematch against Magomed Ankalaev, and I do think that is one of the hardest matchups in the UFC right now. And it's going to be really hard for Alex Pereira to pull it off against Magomed Ankalaev. I do agree with that, and I'm really scared. I am really scared for Alex Pereira. But here's the thing. Here's how I think about it. Alex Pereira has a title shot against Magomed Ankalaev. He either wins it or he loses it. You know, he could potentially knock him out. Obviously, Alex Pereira has that one punch KO power. Obviously, we know he has knockout power. So there is a chance that he could beat Magomed Ankalaev. There is also a chance, say this guy loses, he also has the back option in his back pocket of going up to heavyweight, dude. Heavyweight is a very dry division. They're cutting guys like Martin Boudet. The UFC is desperate for talent. Why not have Alex Pereira go up to heavyweight if he loses? Why not? He is a star in his own right. And brother, give this guy one win at heavyweight and he's getting a title shot immediately. With how dead heavyweight is right now, Alex Pereira can lose his next fight and still I would have hope for him. He is 38 years old and he is one of the only guys who I would say at 38 who could go on a 2-fight losing streak and actually still fight for a title. Alex Pereira has the potential, and although I don't see him beating Aspinall, although I don't even see him beating Magomed Ankalaev, there is a chance he does win. There is a chance that he knocks him out, and there's always a chance at MMA. And if I'm banking on anyone to knock you out, it is Alex Pereira, brother. Alex Pereira, he could go in there and he beats Magomed Ankalaev. He can go in there and he beats Tom Aspinall, and this guy could be one of the greatest of all time. He could be a triple champ. Obviously, that's pretty unlikely, but the worst comes to worst. He loses to Magomed Ankalaev. He goes up to heavyweight. That's just how I see it. I still have faith in Alex Pereira. Like I said, it has been a dream. It has been so fun watching this guy go on his tear the last couple years, beating literally everyone in the light heavyweight division except Magomed Ankalaev. And I was really sad when his reign came to an end at UFC 313, guys. Go back to my videos after UFC 313. My voice was dead. I was talking like a robot. I was just depressed so much. But the dust has settled, guys, and I understand Alex Pereira has a very tough task ahead of him at UFC 320, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. So, all we can do is hope, man. All we can do is hope that Alex Pereira pulls it off against Magomed Ankalaev, where the light heavyweight division is going to be looking very boring and bland for the next couple years to come. But if worse comes to worse, Alex Pereira moves it to heavyweight. And speaking of heavyweight's a very interesting one, dude, because heavyweight's it doesn't have a lot of depth. It's not very fun a division. I was honestly thinking about not even doing anyone for heavyweight. I was thinking, well, no one's really fallen off. No one's really I care about in this division. And I found someone who I can kind of side with, I can kind of agree with. It's Alexander Volkov. All right, man. He was on a 5-fight winning streak in the heavyweight division, and he didn't even get a title shot. He was robbed against Cyril Gane. And I do think he is probably the second best heavyweight in the division right now behind Tom Aspinall. Maybe Jailton Almeida is better. He's fighting Jailton Almeida next at UFC 321, I believe. And that is a tough matchup for him, but I still have hope in him, dude. I still do have hope. I think he was robbed against Cyril Gane. I think he should be the one fighting against Tom Aspinall at UFC 320. And it's safe to say that this man, I don't know how old he is. I know he's on the older end, certainly, but I think he could be a staple. I mean, obviously he's going to be the staple, but he's beaten a lot of the top guys at heavyweight. And, I mean, we're going to be getting to the point where we're going to be having to... heavyweight's so dead, bro. This is kind of a dead pick. I know this one doesn't even make as much sense as the other ones, but realistically, it is the only guy I could think of for heavyweight who has kind of gotten a bad fight last time out. He's coming off a loss, but I still do have at least somewhat faith in Alexander Volkov. And yeah, man, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, leave a comment down below. If you guys did not like this video, leave a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe like I said before. And I'll see you guys in the next one. MMA Outpost out.